guys, this is Heather. So if you know me at all, you know that I'm an environmentalist. When I'm not thinking about food, I'm thinking about the environment. And to be honest, I think about the environment way more than I think about food. Thinking about how to minimize my impact on the planet. Minimize my impact on the people who live on this planet. Minimize my impact on the animals who live on this planet. Minimize my impact on the entire ecosystem that we are a part of. So, this is a huge driving, motivating force behind pretty much every decision I make in my life, including going vegan, was a result of learning about the environmental impacts of animal agriculture. Every other aspect reinforces that decision for me, but that was my tipping point when I realized I could make a difference, a really big difference, like way more than changing to CFL light bulbs, way more than, doing a load of laundry every 2 weeks rather than a load of laundry every 3 days, like way, way, way more impact just by going vegan. And for me, that was a very easy decision. I know it's a hard decision for some people, but that has a massive, massive impact. And that is why I do the work that I do, so that I can show you how to make this easier so that you can have an impact on the planet. I watched a TED Talk recently that was just brilliant. It's an older TED Talk, but I only watched it recently, by Van Jones, called The Social Injustice of Plastic. I'm actually surprised I hadn't watched it before because it is so on point with so many things that I've been thinking about. And basically it boils down to a lot of the issues that we're facing in terms of the planet and also in terms of poverty relate to this mentality of disposability. And he makes points so succinctly, so eloquently, and so insightfully that I won't even repeat what he said. I will just suggest that you go watch his video, which I'll link to below this one. And I'm going to share some things that I do personally to reduce my waste and reduce my disposability of stuff in my life. And Otto apparently wants to chat with us too. Before I start, I just want to say that I'm sharing this without any ego. So I'm not saying this to be like, oh, look at me, look how good I am. Look at all of these things I'm doing. No, I'm sharing this because I want to pass on some ideas, some thoughts for you to consider in your own life. And maybe they work for you, maybe they don't. Maybe you're past what I'm doing and you're doing way more, in which case please comment down below and let me know what you're doing, because I am every single day grappling with the enormity of my impact on the planet. And it's really challenging to continue to live in a country where you know that your impact on the planet is way disproportional. You're basically living outside your means planetarily, and trying to do everything you possibly can, and knowing that you're not perfect, that you're never going to be perfect, that A, there's no such thing as perfect, and B, you inherently are using up more than you should. So please share if you have any suggestions. I also come to this without any judgment. So if you are not doing any of these things, I'm not here saying you gotta do this, otherwise you're a bad person. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just suggesting some ways in which we can all live more harmoniously and with less impact on the planet, on people, on animals, on our ecosystem, all that. Okay, so stuff. The most obvious reusable shopping bags or backpack. My bag today is filled with all of the goodies that I'm going to show you in how I reduce my disposability. If I wind up in the situation that I have a plastic bag, I'm going to use it for something else. That's how I reduce the impact of this plastic bag. So I could use this as a trash bag. I could use this to put wet clothes in if I'm stuck somewhere. I usually actually bring a reusable wet bag that I can put stuff in, but if I don't have the option and there happens to be a plastic bag there, then I'll use it for that. Paper bags, you can, and paper bags, I like the idea of replacing plastic bags with paper, but there are some disadvantages. Paper bags are not as strong. So they often, you'll find the bottom falls out if you have too much stuff in there, particularly if you have something wet inside. So they always double bag them, which annoys me, because why do you need to double bag every single time? Anyway, again, that's why I use canvas bag. Not only is it reusable and not disposable and less waste, but it's actually more functional. So again, if I wind up with a paper bag, what I often do is I will cut it up and flip it inside out and use it for wrapping paper. And then I just wrap this up with some hemp twine, and there you go. Not everybody appreciates it. When I'm buying food, I try to buy it in containers that, I might reuse them. So if I buy something that comes in a plastic container, I reuse it for my ground flax seeds. And then this little scoop was out of a protein powder container. And that's what I use to scoop my flax into my cereal every morning. If I buy nut butters, this is one of my favorites to reuse because this is a glass jar. And so I put things in it like amaranth, whole grains, beans. If you keep them in glass jars, they don't absorb flavor from other stuff, so they keep better. And you can reuse this glass jar instead of sending it for recycling just yet. Also, when I go to buy food, the ladies in the shopping line always look at me funny. Some of them love it, some of them think I'm crazy, but the mesh, you can put produce in this. I put dates in this when I buy medjool dates in bulk. You can put, if you're buying brown rice in bulk, you can put it in that. And I use not only the main ones, but also this drawstring bag is a great one for stuff as well. This is instead of parchment paper or tin foil, both of which can be used a few times. So those of you who remember my older videos when I was using parchment paper, I'd use it like 6-7 times. As long as you don't make something like with onions and then try to make brownies on the same paper, it might absorb some of the flavor. But if you make veggie burgers, just save the paper and use it for more veggie burgers. Or you can get a reusable mat liner for your baking dish. You can also get it as muffin tins. You will all know that I love my travel mug. I take this with me wherever I go. It not only keeps my tea hot for hours longer than it would in a paper cup, but I'm not using disposable waste. So anytime I go anywhere, pretty much, I've got my travel mug with me. Water bottle. So this is a reusable water bottle, easy to fill up. You can find water fountains in lots of places. If you can't, then fill it up at home, take it with you, and you're good to go. If I buy a bottle of water, I will at least save the bottle so that I can reuse it, because I respect that this amount of plastic took resources and created pollution and toxins that aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm going to reuse this as many times as I can. One area that I want to get better is with carbonated water, because I do really enjoy it. That's the only kind of bottled water I would buy, so this was a carbonated bottle of water. SodaStream is a great way to reduce waste. I have not yet gotten one because I haven't lived in one place long enough to accumulate that piece of equipment. One thing I have finally accumulated is a pressure cooker, electric pressure cooker, which my friend JL has finally pushed me over to see the benefits of acquiring a piece of equipment that then minimizes the number of cans of beans that I buy. I still buy them occasionally if there's an emergency, but for the most part, I'm using my pressure cooker. Loose leaf tea. You can buy loose leaf tea. It lasts a lot longer. So like the number of tea bags in here would make far less cups of tea than the loose tea that's in here. So then I use a tea infuser. So I just put the loose tea in here, put it in my cup, and then I can reuse this, and this lasts a lot longer. My shoes. So this running shoe, you will see, is past running usage. See, it's coming apart. But I still keep these shoes because they're great for just walking around. Not long distances, because they do hurt my feet because it's open. But I use these for really short workouts. I use these for, I don't know, going for a walk to the park. I use these, you know, every so often. So I don't need to throw these out yet. I do have a new pair of running shoes for running. I've recently gotten into the SPF fabric instead of sunscreen. Not only does it reduce the sunscreen that you're using, which has to be produced, put in plastic, shipped, but it also reduces how much sunscreen goes into the water, which can damage fish and coral reefs and all kinds of stuff in the ocean. So that's a shirt. I've also got a sarong, which is SPF 50. So if I'm out on a boat and I've been out all day, I can just like put this over myself and, you know, block myself from the sun. If someone buys me a gift and it comes in a gift bag, I'm gonna reuse this gift bag, or in a box. If someone gives me a box like this, I'm gonna save it and reuse it because I make earrings as gifts for people, so I'll put them in little boxes that I've received. And then I wrap them up in brown paper bags that I've saved from the grocery store. And I might reuse this bag. If I don't want the label on it, I might cut it and just use that section. I'll reuse tissue paper, you know, save ribbons as much as I can. What else? Diva cup. Ladies, if you're not using a Diva cup yet, try it. It works really well. It's reusable for a long, long time. You can buy 2 different sizes. Diva cup, get on it. A loofah. Instead of plastic, this is, you know, a great scrub in the shower. When I travel, rather than taking travel toiletries, I take my solid shampoo and conditioner from Lush. So these travel excellently. I also use these at home because you know what? When you have solid stuff, there's less packaging. And if you take your metal tins into Lush, they can actually fill them up for you. Less packaging, and they last a lot longer than a regular bottle of shampoo or conditioner. And if I do get little travel bottles, I save them. And I either have them at home so that when I have people visiting, they can use this if they don't want to use my stuff, or I can donate it to a shelter that might need some toiletries. My spork, my travel spork, one of my favorite things ever. So it's a fork with a serrated edge for a knife, and the other side is a spoon. So I take that with me whenever I'm going out anywhere, just in case I wind up eating lunch or needing a spork. Concentrated soaps. So this is a multi-surface cleaner concentrate. So I've used this much to refill my spray bottle. So I've saved this, and now I can just keep refilling it. You can also do the same thing. Sometimes they have, you know, refills at stores where you can refill your containers of cleaners there, and so you don't have to keep buying a new bottle. Liquid soap versus solid soap. So my landlady left this when I moved in. I leave it there for guests. This has lasted me 2 years now. And in the meantime, I use one of these bars of soap about once a year. And when it gets down to a certain point, then I add it to the other bars of soap. And in the shower, I have this little cloth drawstring bag that I just keep putting my end soap bits in. And so that's what I use in the shower. Taking food to go. So sometimes I will use a sandwich wrap. So this just unwraps and you can put your sandwich in and close it up. Or reusable plastic containers. You can use these for sandwiches. You can use them, there are smaller ones for snacks. You can use twist top ones for soups, but something that's reusable. If you use Ziploc bags, you can reuse these. You just flip them inside out, wash them, and you can use them again. My dad always used to do that, and I thought it was crazy when I was little, but now I realize the wonderfulness of reusing those bags. Or even better, I find these last longer, so I tend to use stuff like that or like that whenever possible. They make reusable filters for Keurig so that you don't have to use the plastic bits each time, which drives me nuts when I watch people do. No judgment, but that's what's going on in my head is, you know, try a reusable one. I already mentioned scoops. If I get a scoop in something, they make a good measuring cup or a little scoop for something else. Tins. If you buy a tin of something, makes a great little container. So I've got hair barrettes in this container. Glass straw. Those of you who've watched me for a while also know that I'm a big fan of glass straws. Instead of plastic straws, you can take this with you. You can ask for no straw when people make you a smoothie or whatever, and you can have them put it in your travel mug or your water bottle, use your glass straw, and you're just like everybody else, but not making waste. I've started using clothespins as twist ties because they're a lot sturdier. I just put it on the top of the bag, and I have these around anyway because I put them on my clothesline. There's also, of course, food clips that you can get that are reusable instead of twist ties, because twist ties, you know, they don't last very long. So another option is clothespins. Oh, this is fun. This is a fire starter. So for those of you who like camping, you can get a fire starter instead of matches. Also great if it's raining, because this will work, whereas matches can get wet unless you have waterproof. I had a friend visit recently, and she brought this cool thing called soap nuts, and she uses this instead of laundry soap. So she just tosses this bag in with her laundry, and she said she also makes liquid soap out of it, so I'm going to experiment with these. She left a few as a little gift. Also as a gift, she brought me a book that she read and then passed on to me. And after I finish reading it, I will pass it on to someone else. So you don't have to buy new stuff. It's not re-gifting, it's repurposing, reusing, reducing your waste and your impact on the planet. Yay, yay! Last thing in my bag is my watch. So this watch, you can see the strap fell off, but I still use it because it still works. It just doesn't have a strap, so I just use it for timing things. I've got a box here in front of me. So my camera equipment, because I live in a very humid climate, I keep my camera equipment so that it doesn't get destroyed by humidity and then force me to buy new stuff, which involves lots of resources and whatnot. I keep it in a plastic box so that it stays good, and in that box I have a reusable drying thing. So this basically just has like silica gel in there, which is the stuff that they put in your shoes to make sure that it stays dry. But this is reusable, so I just plug this in and it heats it up a little bit until these are dried out, and then I can put it back in and my stuff stays dry. Whenever I'm buying stuff like that, like electronics, I look for something that has a reusable battery because they last a lot longer than regular batteries. But if there's something where I don't have an option, so like the microphone that I use to film videos, there was no option for one with a rechargeable in-built battery, so I try to use rechargeable AA's in there so that I'm at least using less batteries. My shirt I got from the best store ever, the Red Cross thrift store across the street from me, which is fantastic because they take donations of people who are no longer using these clothes that are still wearable. I buy them for very low prices, and knowing that I'm not purchasing something that's been made new, and all of the money that I spend goes to the Red Cross, which is doing good work to help with health and community programs. There are other things that I do, but I didn't want to go on for too long. And there are things that I don't do that I want to know about. So please leave a comment down below and let me know what you do to minimize your waste and the disposability of the stuff that you use in your life. Thank you so much for watching. Check out Van Jones' TED Talk. I'll post the link down below. Share this video with someone that you think might enjoy it. Look forward to reading your thoughts. And if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get a new video every week with vegan recipes, nutrition tips, inspiration, and sometimes my long chats about environmental stuff. So hope to see you soon. We'll talk then. Bye.